What is up, bros? Josh here. Today's video is all about the HMS Nelson, the Tier 7 premium battleship, and is it worth it? Now, this is one that gets asked a lot on if it's worth to pick up this ship, and the reason being it's a tad different than a lot of normal premium ships in the way that you just go to the premium store and purchase it. This one is actually one of the few ships in this game that's purchasable through free XP. So what you want to do is go to the tech tree, and you can look into the UK line and go to the battleships, and you'll actually see a price tag of 375,000 free XP. Now, what exactly? Just a brief over free XP. It's one of the types of experience that you will get, a percentage based of your overall experience that you will get towards, and it will go up in the top right corner. You can use all of that for one, purchasing more ships, getting to higher ships, buying modules for ships, or just training up captains. One of the things they have added into this game over time is premium ships you can get for free XP. Some of the ships you could have bought with free XP is, of course, the Nelson. You could have also bought the Musashi, which was the Tier 9 IJN battleship. Depending on when you see this, this might not be available anymore. The USS Alaska is coming, the Tier 9 cruiser. And depending on when you're watching, that might already be available. And also the Russian Tier 9 premium ship, the Kronstadt, which is those are all valued at 750, the Alaska at 1 million. Now, one thing over time is free XP has gotten much easier to get, the reason being with better and better camos, better and better flags, and really if you wanted to grind out free XP, you could do it fairly easily. So ships like this, I don't see being part of the game at this affordable rate too much longer. We're seeing a pattern of even the USS Alaska, a Tier 9 cruiser, getting pushed up to 1 million free XP. But let's just look at the Nelson at 375,000 free XP, and is it worth it or not? Now, if you've ever watched one of my streams, you know what I think about this ship. I'm not the biggest fan of this ship. The reason being is the armor on this. Now, we'll get to how the guns look and everything, and that's the captain. We don't quite want to look at that. But the armor layout, this thing is pretty much armored like a wet newspaper. It looks like it should tank. If you just look at the gun layout, it's very Izumo-esque. Basically, it looks like an Izumo with the ass end of it kind of cut off. It looks kind of like a Dunkirk, if you've ever seen that. Maybe a Richelieu. It's its own little mutant style of ship. Again, in all of the is it worth it, I look at what the ship brings as a unique ship, how it's attained, and how it kind of plays. But one thing that the ship really does lack is armor, and that's the thing that really bugs me about it. As you see, this front plate, 305 millimeter, you're going to get beat up. You have things like the Colorado. If you look at the artillery on the Colorado, we're looking at 406. There's many battleships at this tier that are above 400 millimeters, which just obliterate you. Last time we played this, we were playing a bunch of Nelson games to actually earn credits, and we got dev struck, I believe, by a Congo at a weird angle and an Ashitaka at a weird angle. So this ship does not bring much armor, but what it does bring is some unique overall playstyle. So let's dive into some stats, and then we'll talk about some playstyle with some gameplay as well. 59,400 HP, that's pretty solid. What you're going to get out of this ship is an interesting kind of playstyle, which is with the main caliber, 3 sets of 3, 406 millimeters, and you are a UK battleship. So if you've ever played a UK battleship, you know that HE will be your primary ammo. Wow, an HE flinging battleship. So what you lose for tanking with its mediocre armor, you gain in farming damage ability. So it's a bit up to if you like this playstyle. I personally don't. I would rather have a more tanky, hard-hitting battleship than an overtime HE farming battleship, but that's what the Nelson has, so that's what we got to talk about. 30-second reload on the main battery with a 46% fire chance and a alpha damage on the AP of 12,000, as well as 6,900 for HE. Shell velocity of 788 meters. It's all right. The shells itself, it's still a battleship though. Don't be afraid to use AP and HE, but HE sadly will be your primary ammo. That's what it's kind of known for, and it's just a farmer. Main battery 18.2 kilometers, so pretty decent on Tier 7 battleship. AA is nothing really to write home about, but you will shoot down a couple planes, but you are a big, high-sided battleship, so you will get dropped on, and CVs will laugh at you. Maneuverability is decent. You'll tend to be kind of the bow-in style. You want to get that third turret, so you have to turn just a tad. The front two will aim themselves, but you have to give just a bit of an angle, maybe something like that. You'll probably end up doing that a lot and just spamming HE. Detectability is all right at 12.8 kilometers for this tier, And the Nelson Captain, this is what I run. Pretty basic. You can. This is actually a pretty good trainer as well. The higher the tier, the more experience, the more credits. And of course, the tier 7 is a really good matchmaking for battleships in general. But battleships will pick on you, so you just have to pick your positioning carefully. Again, going over to modules, which is one of the things that sets the Nelson apart, is the type of heel it has. It has an insane heel. The apprenticeship known as the UK line has, it's just a pure apprenticeship. Look at the HP per second, 1425, absolutely nutty. And of course you can run stuff with like the extra flag, which will give you 20% more. Yeah, the heel is nuts. So what you're gonna end up doing is letting a couple fires burn, and you can print half of your ship back. It's called the print to ship. Everyone kind of laughs when it happens. So if you see a Nelson, be sure to focus it, because if you don't, it's gonna come back with 30,000 more health after it goes undetected. So it does have that ace in the sleeve of having a massive heel. And you can, of course, bring up to 4 of them. I believe that's with Superintendent. Yeah, it is. Superintendent and the Premium. So stock is 2, upgraded module is 3, and then Superintendent gives 4. Now let's dive into some gameplay and talk about how this ship plays and is it finally worth it. So here we are in game with the Nelson, and as you can see, we are bottom tiered, which just happened, but I wanted to show this game off. This isn't my highest damage game. When I do these, are they worth it? I want to show very realistic gameplays on what you can kind of see on a normal basis. Now, this was after a run of really poor games, actually, because the Nelson tends to be more of an HE slinger, and what that means is it's not really a carry ship. So upside of the ship is it can farm a lot of damage. It does have a really good heal, and it does bring something unique. Also, you can kind of get the ship for free. And what I mean by that is the free XP. You can basically get it for free just by playing. It's not going to go out and cost you any money. You don't have to pay doubloons for it. You can just get it for playing the game. So it does have some upside there, and that's something I have to take into effect of when I say, is this ship worth it or not? Now, I personally am not the biggest fan of this ship. I don't like the play style of it, and I would much rather take a lot of other tier 7 battleships, but I do want to break it down for you guys and give you an honest review of it. So with the ease of free XP over time, it's basically devalued free XP as a currency, but that's really good if you want to pick up this ship. You could honestly go out when we had the 3-time wins, and you could have got 5, 10, 20,000 free XP a game. But if you had all the right stuff in a high tier enough ship to just get those bonuses, you could have really just kind of farm this out in a weekend. I think on stream we played when those were going on, and I farmed just a massive amount of free XP out and was able to really get a lot done. Even on my alt account, I think we ended up getting the Kronstadt in a little over a week. So you can definitely get it done. And at a price of 375,000, it's very, very doable. But the ship itself, though, is going to be up to the player. For me, it's a love-hate. A lot of people really enjoy this ship. Do I think it's one of the top tier, or do I think it's a very competitive tier 7 battleship? No, not really. If there was ever a tier 7 premium, or if there was ever a tier 7 ranked battles again, I don't think the Nelson would honestly be one of the top few. I think the Nelson is kind of on the lower half of tier 7s, if not right kind of in the middle of tier 7 battleships. It's not really kind of with how much it just gets picked on. You'll see me going against a Kronstadt, me shooting AP against his broadside, and him shooting AP against my broadside, and you'll see that this ship can even get picked on by cruisers. But again, it's not going to be this. I don't want this whole video to be me ranting about how I don't enjoy the ship. I do want to break down its value. So free XP, 375,000. It depends on how much you're going to play this game and how much you're going to be using your free XP. Now, what I mean by that is that if you only are using your free XP for maybe upgrading your ships, or maybe training a captain or something like that, and you rarely play, then maybe the Nelson isn't quite worth it for you. But if you have some extra free XP laying around, the Nelson is definitely worth picking up. It brings a unique playstyle. There's nothing in this game that plays like this does. Now, it's kind of a mix between a Conqueror and an Izumo had the weird tier 7 baby, but there's nothing that's exactly like it. You have the 3 front-facing turrets, which you see on other ships, but you don't really have that hard-hitting AP that you'd see on some other stuff. One thing about the Nelson 2 is that it doesn't really up-tier that well. I mean, tier 7 battleships tend to kind of be pretty mediocre on its up-tier. I feel like the Nelson just gets picked on the higher tier it goes. I mean, if you see an Iowa or any kind of real tier 9 battleship, they're going to just be picking on you because you have a big, giant nose that they can just punch all game long when it comes to their AP. So you have to be a little careful. But one thing that the Nelson does kind of do, because it has this Frankenstein zombie style heal, is that when it does get top tiered, it's actually relatively strong that way. But I can't like actually go and say a ship is strong if it's only good against top tier. I have to kind of bring it to everything, and that's why I wanted to show a bottom tier game here. But you can make it work. You will end up, especially if you're getting bottom tiered more, you will end up using the HE ammo as kind of like your primary game here. But you know you can't really get it. You feel like a ship where the turrets are all going forward. You want to kind of get into brawling situations, but you know the ship just can't handle it. So a bit of a downside there, but still, I think that if you have the ability to earn the free XP, let's say you have some extra flags, maybe you got some of the Black Friday camos, or just have some extra camos that or extra free XP that you've earned through let's say containers or events, this is definitely a ship I would pick up. There's no real sign of this ever going away, so it's definitely going to be around for a while. So I would definitely snag it if you can. Again, not my favorite ship at tier 7, not even my favorite tier 7 battleship, not probably even my top 5 at tier 7. But I do like and I do respect that it brings a unique playstyle. I do respect that it does bring a great credit maker. On my alternate account, this was my highest tier 7. This was my highest premium, so it did a fantastic job at actually earning a lot of credits. Now, credits are based off of damage. It's not based off like how many kills you get. So with this being a good damage farming ship, you can actually earn a decent amount of credits at tier 7. Again, tier 7 has a good matchmaking. You tend to get top tiered a lot and not really bottom tiered that much, and you can go out and make a lot of credits. Now, I'm kind of maybe not the best Nelson player because I do love shooting AP, but I would think that shooting a broadside Kronstadt would get me a little bit more damage than 9,000. Now he's going to shoot a broadside salvo against me. I did 9,099, and let's see how much he does against me as I angled in. Remember, this was battleship versus cruiser, so he knocks almost 10,000 off of me, so even cruisers can pick on you a little bit. You will see us actually get into a situation where we get one of our zombie heals as well. But still, this isn't a roast, so I don't want to make fun of this ship. But there are some downsides to it. But again, the way you actually get this ship is actually pretty nice. And I'm kind of hope that going forward, now I think there will always be free XP ships like this, and it just kind of makes a good way to kind of just dump your free XP, which is kind of nice, just getting these free ships. I always thought maybe like the HMS Hood would be another ship that would be a good way to do this. Maybe find some ships that Wargaming could rotate in some ships that really don't sell that well and turn them into free XP, because it's basically a free premium ship. Now, obviously, I know if you are the person that plays 1 or 2 days a week for 3 or 4 games, 375,000 free XP is kind of unattainable. So just kind of take your situation into this and just kind of say, well, I can earn this much, or if I want to get one of the, let's say, the tier 9 premiums, do I think it would, if you had 300 and let's say you had 400,000 free XP, do I think it would be a better value to pick up the Nelson or save for, let's say, the Musashi before it leaves, or the Alaska? I personally would save up for one of the other ships. I think those other ships are going to be better. I think the Kronstadt is a better deal at tier 9. Obviously, the Musashi is extremely strong at tier 9 and way worth it. I would do that. This is a situation that I would say is a bit more like the Salem, that if you have the free XP laying around and the ability to get it consistently, I would definitely pick it up. And that's the reason why I kind of wanted to make this video. Is it going to be super strong, and are you going to have these insane carry games with this ship? Probably not, but I do respect the fact that it does bring something unique, and that's what I love about certain ships like this. So, not my biggest, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I do think that it's definitely got a got an area where it will excel, and will kind of just be a lot of fun for most people. Again, there's lots of people who just extremely love this ship. It's just, maybe if I embrace, maybe I'll do some more games with this, we'll embrace the HE more, and then we'll maybe like that. But it seems so foreign to me that, and that's why I'm not a big fan of the Conqueror. I don't like what it promotes, and I don't like that battleship HE spamming life. I really dislike that playstyle. And if I'm a battleship, I should be shooting AP, which you can do. Obviously, you can go dev strike to dev strike and really just burn down the enemy team. And even broadsides right here. See, I wanted to kill this Iowa really quick, because I know if I turn, because this Amagi is about to get blasted as well, that he is just going to punch my nose, and there's nothing I can do about it, because it gives you this false sense of, all right, let's push in, let's charge, and then that 25mm plating plus that 305mm belt that's in front is just gonna start crying. You'll probably hear it in game. Also, with the size of caliber here, I expected to get more salvos or more damage on the salvo, but you even have decent dispersion. I expected to get more than this. So a bit of a bummer, 3 full pens, then that could have been the full pen life that you get, the no damage full pens. It could have easily been that, but I expected to get a little bit more. I felt like if I was in the Gato or the Colorado, they would have definitely been hurting that a tad more. Again, though, trying to watch where it is, because if you're getting up broadside on the ship, you will get blasted off the planet. Again, when we were going through trying to get a decent little video showing this off, they've got dev struck twice by 2 different IGN ships that just had the caliber to beat up through that armor. But you do have that high fire chance, you do have that decent heal, and really, and here we go. So that was a 13,000 damage, and that's just the lack of armor that this ship has. 13,000 damage on it, on that HE Savile, double fire, but we can heal it. I'm not using these heals to the full extent. Obviously, I'm using them just to kind of stay a tad more healthy in this situation to finish off some of these battleships. But I think we're going to launch this in and get them lit on fire one more time. Using that high fire chance is our advantage, and trying to rotate over to this line, who again picks on us. We're getting picked on because we're bottom tier. But anyways, again, upsides of the ship: good damage farmer, really good matchmaking at tier 7, and you can basically get it for free, which is a massive upside. If this was a ship that you had to purchase, then, and this is something that I should be in real with you guys, if this was a ship you had to purchase for real money or doubloons, I don't think I would say it's worth it. Since you can get it through free XP, that's the only reason I'm recommending it and saying it is worth it. I just don't see the strength of this ship. I just don't see it being really much better than anything else at tier 7 for the actual playstyle. And as you can see right there, there is the actual heal potential. So as you see, we're getting down to 15,000 life. And we have a 30-second heal, so you'll see what I'm talking about for the print to screen, or print to ship, because you can have up to 4 of these types of heals a game. So really, if you take all that fire damage, it doesn't really matter. You kind of just laugh it off and just kind of just wreck face when it comes to comes to the ship. But you've seen that if you've ever played something like the Conqueror, that kind of has that print to ship aspect to the whole line. And here we go, 15,100 and all the way back up, and as you see, it's insane, like 3,000, 2,000 spots of heals. It's so nuts. But going from 15,000 all the way up to what's that, so to 20,000 heal. That's pretty nasty. So fires, floods, not the biggest problem for you, but you will get picked on by pure alpha damage because of your lack of armor. But overall, things that I do like about this ship outweigh, I think, the negatives, and I definitely would, if you can, pick up this ship. Again, we have some with 8.0 coming up, depending on when you're listening to this video. There's some big changes with the free XP ships, ships getting rotated in and out, with the Alaska coming in at 8.0, depending on when you're listening to this, of course. The Musashi getting rotated out, as long as the Kronstadts, those are no longer there. But if you are consistently playing and you have some extra XP just laying around, I definitely would snag this ship. I do think it brings enough that's different, that's worth it, that you can really get in and kind of get your value out of it. It's also, for the longest time, it's a fantastic Royal Navy battleship trainer if you are going through that line. Up until basically the Cossack, people are going to yell at me in the comments now, came around. This was the best Royal Navy trainer. I would say this is even better than the Warspite in the fact that it's just a higher tier. Higher tiers tend to be a little bit better for farming XP, better for farming credits. So with that, you could actually have a bit of an advantage for just getting a tad more of everything, just being the higher tier. But with the new Royal Navy tier destroyer, it's really not the best. I think you'll get consistent more damage, XP from that, and if you're trying to work on that. But again, I do like this ship being quote-unquote free. Now, again, that is in quotations, so I don't know everybody's situation when it comes to it. But you'll kind of see us being able to push in now. You can't really push in early, it's not a big tanky ship, but you do kind of see the situations and make the best of it happen. You can still smack broadsides. You're going to see a pretty big hit on the Gneisenau now right here, so I still embrace the AP. It is a tad weird and tad foreign to me, as you saw. I'm probably shooting a tad more AP than I really should, and when the gods give you good RNG and a good salvo on this ship, 18,000, 17,000 hits, and you can really make it happen. Still Citadel battleships, still get dev strikes on everything, but you will get a little bit out of your comfort zone if you're used to playing normal battleships, and you can get some extra HE damage. So HE, a lot of it on this ship. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's just the play style. So I'm just being honest with you guys. Down goes our Scharnhorst, and kind of funny. Let's watch the Ibuki go down. We're gonna see him do some hero plays right here. So holding my salvo for the Amagi. Again, nice broadside salvo here. So AP on those broadsides, HE basically everywhere else. Down they go, nice little 7k salvo. And we're just gonna keep pushing in and finalize this game out. So again, not the biggest damage game you've ever seen in this ship. Not my biggest damage game ever, but it's just pretty realistic. I wanted to show you that it does get picked on armor-wise, even by other cruisers. But you can still get really effective games. We finished off 3 ships. Would actually got a 4th one. Yeah, we don't get the kill right there because the Rune gets it. But and down goes our Ibuki. Obviously, we would have with the Rune there. Ended up being like, I think, the Fletcher's Torps. But nothing too exciting to finish this game out. I think we just he ends up dying, so it extends the game a tad here. But overall, this ship isn't my favorite playstyle. Again, I don't want to repeat that too much, but what you actually get from this ship is pretty is actually a pretty good value. Is it worth it? And that was kind of funny too. If you saw, I clicked onto HE. I wanted to shoot my full salvo, and it only shot the front turret before it switched out, so I was really kind of confused. But this would have been a better time to actually shoot HE. But is it worth it? Yes, it is, because you can basically get it for free by just playing the game and just having fun, and next thing you'll know, you'll have a tier 7 premium ship in your harbor. Obviously, if you are playing a new account, this is a fantastic ship for you, because you can actually get a fantastic credit earner without ever spending a dime. So that's one thing that's a huge upside to this ship. That's what I did on my alt account first. We ended up getting lucky on my alt account and got a Matsu, which was our credit XP or credit farmer first. But you can actually do this and get it fairly quickly if you just focus on going out and getting free XP. You can get this. So if you are not somebody that wants to go spend money, somebody that doesn't want to really go out and you know, spend doubloons or buy doubloons, that kind of thing, this is a fantastic option to get yourself a pretty solid credit farmer. So if you haven't gotten it, definitely would. It doesn't show signs of this thing being removed from the tech tree anytime soon. I would expect to see more options like this, but probably not at this price tag. I would expect the free XP prices to continue to grind over time, since the value of free XP is getting lower and lower over time. So here's my quick review over the Nelson. I get asked a lot about this. You can actually do quite decent. I know a lot of people that love this ship, so I didn't want to roast it the entire time. This ship just isn't for me, but it still is worth it, and you can actually go out and have a lot of fun in this with the unique playstyle, basically free, and go get your credits and go get your trained up captains. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Nelson. Do you think it's not your playstyle? Do you enjoy it? You know, let me know in the comments below. I think there's a lot of people on the fence with this ship as well, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. But anyways, that's me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.